Hi, I'm Kimberly Wilson. The speech that I'm going to evaluate for you today is entitled The Perils of Indifference, written and delivered by Elie Wiesel in Washington, D.C., April 12, 1999. Before I go into the speech, I'd like to explain how I came about Mr. Wiesel and his excellent written work. In 2006, while watching Oprah, I was impressed by a new book club selection that she had talked about. The book was entitled Night by an author whose name I had never heard of before, Elie Wiesel. She explained how he was a Holocaust survivor and the things that went on in Auschwitz she would never forget. Well, that name stuck with me from that day to this. And when given the opportunity to evaluate a famous speech today, I went to AmericanRhetoric.com, checked the 100 famous speeches list, and among the speeches by presidents, famous people, even Oprah, there the name was again, Elie Wiesel. And that is how I came upon the speech. Now, Mr. Wiesel starts the speech by looking at the past, a look back to the day after American soldiers freed him and came to his rescue in Auschwitz 60 years ago. He recalls the rage, and though they didn't speak the same language, for that moment no words were necessary. The humanity. He speaks directly to President and Mrs. Clinton. He speaks to his undying gratitude to the American people who saved his life all those years ago. He also speaks to the Clinton and speaks to Mrs. Clinton and thanks her for her philanthropy of helping the world's children. Again, humanity. Wiesel goes on, his voice softens, and the tone changes. As we move into the new millennium, he states, let us be aware that history will judge the past century, the assassinations, the crimes against humanity, and on another level, the tragedies in Auschwitz and Treblinka, the violence and indifference. Mr. Wiesel's second point goes on to elaborate that indifference, as he speaks on the origin of the word. What is indifference, he says? What can we do as a society or any group of people to change the idea of indifference? What happens to society? How does a society survive indifference? What can we do as a society to move past indifference? Well, Mr. Wiesel goes on and explains that. And his voice changes again. And he mentions a group of people called the Musselmänner, for whom indifference was their only solace. All humanity was lost. According to JewishVirtualLibrary.org, Musselmänner means German in Muslim. Means Muslim in German. Sorry. There was also a quote which read, one hesitates to call them living, and one hesitates to call their death death. For the Musselmänner had all but lost their humanity. They walked, they slept, they ate, but they no longer lived. Mr. Wiesel's tone changes yet again, a little more forceful. When he speaks words of the only consolation that they had, knowing that no one in the world, no one else knew about the atrocities of Hitler and his allies. Now we know, he says, head bowed. The great leader Franklin Delano Roosevelt, whose death is 54 years to the day, did know. They knew we were there. Why the indifference in space? The actions of FDR, those 60 years ago, that led to the defeat of the Nazi Germany, leaves the Jewish people with a twofold remembrance of him, both great and flawed. He was also indifferent. Moving forward, Mr. Wiesel says, good things can come from tragedy. Wiesel praised President Clinton on his efforts in Kosovo that saved the children there from the horrors in which he lived. He goes on to speak about Americans moving to the next millennium, and he says he's looking forward to the millennium with great fear, great hope, and zero indifference. Thank you.